Joel Webbon is doing his Joel Webbon thing. And I don't know this guy, this Jake Shields. I haven't a clue who he is. No earthly idea. He clearly doesn't have a clue about the Bible or anything else either, which is interesting. But I only got to this point, and you just got to hear this. I'm not gonna waste my time trying to expand it and bring it over and do all the rest of this stuff. Just I already did.
Like Christianity, they even would go so far as to say Christianity is a Jewish psyop to weaken the West.
There's a big push against that right now.
There is
a lot of white people. I've talked to some of these guys. I'm trying to tell them, like, bro, you're not going the right approach. Just say he's not Jewish, like Son of God. How is the Son of God a Jew? This is
okay. No, wait a minute. Okay, again, I don't know this guy, and it's very evident to me just from what he just said that I don't know he's ever cracked the spine of a Bible or knows anything about it at all. Okay, but. What? How can the Son of God be Jewish? It's called the incarnation. Okay? It's the eternal Logos who became flesh in John 1:14, and it's painfully self-evident that the person who wrote John 1:14 was A, himself Jewish, and B, was saying that Jesus became flesh of Israelite stock. He truly became flesh. And unlike what the quote-unquote biblical Unitarians, who try to get rid of the personal reality that the Logos was, they have to deny that, of course. It's self-evident to anybody who just reads the Bible and doesn't allow all sorts of other strange things to overwrite the pages of Scripture, that the emphasis in the New Testament is on the Jewish lineage of Jesus. You have these things called genealogies, that both Matthew and Luke provide, tracing things back through the Jewish people. And John's whole point, he came unto his own received him not. His own what? I mean, okay, this guy, again, I don't know who he is, but he doesn't know anything about Christianity. But immediately, Joel Webbon should be, oh, no. Come on, now. Is that what we get?
It's like, I don't think the Bible ever says Mary's Jewish, does it?
Did you hear that? I don't think the Bible ever says Mary was Jewish, does it? Okay, again, sorry, dude, don't know who you are. This is called a Bible. Lots of us will buy one for you if you'd like to read it, learn something about it. Clearly, don't know anything about it. Why is he on Joel Webbon's webcast? I don't have any idea. But he just said the Bible doesn't say Mary was Jewish, does it? And he stops. And now Joel Webbon has to respond. What is the only response you can give here if you have a responsible bone left in your body? Well, of course it says she was Jewish. And that's what he said, right?
It's called, genealogies are very complicated. You have Ruth, you have Rahab, you have different people in the genealogy of Christ that weren't Israelites. And then it gets into like, well, how do you define Jew? Does it mean Judean? Or is it just stand-in, synonymous for Hebrew? So to me, it's like, yeah, I know the guys who make the arguments about, the Jews were Edomites, or there's
I understand the argument, but I refuse to say Jesus is Jewish. I'm just not going to.
I don't have a problem with that. I think that's fine.
I'm just not going to say it. They can make the argument, but I'm not going to say Jesus is Jewish. It's
right. Yeah, that's fine.
I don't have a problem with that. King of the Jews? Yeah, King of the Jews, yeah. I said by the end of the year, actually, I've been hearing stuff. The big question now is when does Joel convert? That's really the next question, really. But when you get to this point, this level of utter compromise, you're just like, how did that happen so fast? Well, it didn't happen all that fast. It was happening when it was being denied. what?
But after listening to that, my next question to you is, convert to what?
Oh, look, I have a clip someplace, I'm not sure if I bothered to save it, where he was talking about how the Catholics have the doctrine of God so perfectly down. They've just got it all right, and they know all this stuff. And, he's switched from being the only time I was ever on his webcast, we were talking about the Thomistic ressourcement, and he was on my side. Okay, now he's on the other side. Now, I'm sorry, Joel Webbon doesn't have a clue what the Thomistic ressourcement's about. He doesn't know anything about that subject. He is completely untrained. He's just going with Stephen Wolfe. Stephen Wolfe's a Thomist, so I'm a Thomist now. He didn't need 10,000 hours to learn all that stuff, which he's claimed he needs to learn to find out about the Holocaust and stuff like that. So, look, the way he's chumming around, he has no reason to stay out of Rome. None.
Right, but maybe I'm naive here, but I've never heard a Romanist say that.
Say what, about the Jewish thing?
Yeah. Maybe I'm just living in a cave.
No. You're wrong on that one. Sorry. They have their wacko anti-Semites too. They've got their wacko anti-Semites too. They're anti-Semitism. It's the Jews. For some reason, it does not follow borders. And of course, the Roman Catholic leadership. Roman Catholic leadership says that we adore the same God as the Muslims. So, okay, they're compromised on. They're massively compromised on all sorts of things. Ask Bob Singenis about the Roman Catholic leadership and the Jews. You'll get an earful on that one. But the point is, what keeps a person out of Roman Catholicism is a solid commitment and understanding to the fundamentals of the gospel, scriptural authority, and that narrative. And with the Christless nationalists, that's all coming apart. They're willing to adapt so as to get clicks, get the followers, and you just heard that right there. There is only one answer to that question from that guy. There was only one thing he have said. And the Joel Webbon I knew 2-3 years ago and spoke at one conference, he would have been able to answer that question just like that. The very fact that he sat there stuttering and stammering and heeing and hawing is just vile. It's just disgusting. It's compromised. It's unbelievable. So anyways, that just popped up. And then somebody sent it to me after I started looking at it going, okay, there you go. Wow, just amazing.